In this episode, I'm going to provide you with 3 guidelines for leaders to follow if they truly want to encourage an environment that gives you permission to fail. I'm also going to share with you 3 tips for employees to follow if they want to break out of that negative environment and move into a more innovative and creative space. I'm Gregory Wade. Welcome to The Defender. Businesses can't create breakthrough products, solutions, and services if they're unwilling to encourage risk-taking and to learn from their mistakes. I know firsthand. I work for an organization that failed to innovate and it completely imploded. One year it was known throughout pop culture, the next year it was practically obliterated from the face of the earth. Throughout these experiences and more, I've often interacted with employees who've asked the following questions. Am I going to get fired or laid off because I actually challenge the status quo? What if the initiatives I'm working on don't quite go as planned? Am I going to face retaliation? I've got some great ideas, but I'm actually intimidated by our leaders. I just can't bring things to them because they're actually going to reject me. These are questions that employees often ask because they're operating in an environment of fear and intimidation. If, as a leader, you truly want to transform your organization into an environment that encourages and supports permission to fail, the following 3 guidelines will help you get there. The first guideline is that you have to break down social and bureaucratic barriers within the organization and instill an environment of trust and integrity. Take a look at what Hiroshi Makitani did over at Rakuten as he broke down barriers, traditional hierarchical barriers and social barriers, to get himself closer to those who had all these amazing ideas and creative juices flowing. The second is engage with employees at a personal level. Check your ego at the door and have an open mind. A mentor of mine once shared with me that there's no place for ego in the boardroom, except for Steve Jobs, because he was both charismatic and he instilled fear. The third guideline is to admit your mistakes. You aren't on a pedestal. Demonstrate that you are only human. Just like Jeff Bezos did recently, where he admitted to an entire organization that he had a pretty darn hard quarter. For employees, know that you don't need to operate in an environment where you're chastised for failure. Hold yourself to a different standard. The 3 tips for employees to use if you want to break out of an environment that does not encourage risk-taking are as follows. If you follow these tips, they will open doors for you time after time. The first tip is do your research. Look for companies, leaders, and groups that are challenging the status quo and pushing to encourage risk-taking and learning from their experiences. You can use such tools as Glassdoor to help you get there. You can also leverage your own network because people will know what's working, what's not working, and if they're good, they're going to give you great advice. The second tip is get involved in extracurricular activities. If you're in an environment that is stagnant and you're not enjoying, you know what? You have every opportunity to inject yourself into another environment that's innovative and creative and get your thought juices flowing. So get involved in those extracurricular activities, whether inside or outside of the organization. The third tip is challenge your internal standards. If not for yourself, for those who follow behind you. Because if you don't help make change, who will? Permission to fail. The former CEO of a large technology company once said to me, we wouldn't have had an Apple or a Google if they did not have permission to fail instilled within the organization. It's time we move away from the black and white of success and failure, blame and defensiveness, and move to an environment of curiosity and engagement. If you've enjoyed this video, share it to highlight how risk-taking can fast-track innovation.